Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to Cinderella Phenomenon Evermore. I'm tired. Internship has drained me. I'm so tired. But let's jump in. Klaude, let's go. The hallway is lively in the late morning, but I barely pay attention to the servants as I pass as I make my way through it. A few of the servants notice my hurried pace and stare after me, no doubt curious as to why I'm rushing down the halls. I ignore them. What reason could Parfait have for summoning me so late? I was awoken this morning by a knock heralding a letter delivery. It was marked as urgent and had been sent by Parfait earlier today. Parfait prefaced it with an apology, then explained that she and Delora had something that they needed to discuss with me. Apparently, it cannot wait. Everyone planned for a late breakfast today, so I could sleep in too. Claude was already gone when I woke. I was expecting as much, considering today is my birthday, and he had been the one heading the plans for it. I have already told my family that I'll be missing breakfast on account of Parfait's letter, but I have yet to see Claude. I turned the corner in a rush and only barely managed to stop myself from colliding with someone coming down the side of the hall. Lucette! I stepped back from Claude as he stares at me, looking flustered as if he had too been running. I heard you were leaving the palace for some personal business? Parfait sent me an abrupt letter this morning saying that she had something to discuss with me. Claude looks clearly disgruntled by this news. On your birthday? Oh. He suddenly falls to his knees and clasps my hand in his. I'm startled when he presses his lip to the back of it and smiles. A very happy birthday to you, my beautiful Lucette. My love, my sunshine, my beautiful betrothed. The greeting is so familiar, I cannot help but blush. Claude cocks an eyebrow at me as he stands. He leans forward and plants a quick kiss on my lips. Ugh. Alright, now that I've done what was necessary. He looks at me again disgruntled. They're really doing this on your birthday? Apparently so. Claude grunts a response before shrugging his shoulders. If that is the case, he takes a step towards me. Would you allow me to accompany you? I had something special planned for breakfast, but if you cannot be there, I would at least rather be by your side. I can leave early to make sure that things are taken care of. Was he rushing to catch up to me for that reason? But if he tags along, won't he even be more pressed for time? Like, okay, he wants to follow me, but he has plans. Just let him follow me. Just let him do what he wants. That's my stand on this. You should just let people do what they want. They'll be happier that way, even though they're rushing for time, I think. So yeah. He is the one that insists on tagging along, and I always appreciate Claude's company. Perfect! I will meet you at the palace gates in a few minutes then. I just need to tell everyone that I plan on being out for a short time. He ducks and plants a kiss on my cheek before rushing off, leaving me to once again walk down the corridors on my own. I do not have to wait long for Klaude to appear at the gates. Sorry to keep you waiting, Lucette. He glances around at the clearing. No carriage? I asked, but they have yet to prepare one. Perhaps we should just walk there, Martin. I stifle a sigh. Relax, darling. Parfait and Delora have already waited this long. I'm sure they can afford you some time to breathe in some fresh air. He holds out his arm to me with a flourish, a smile on his face. Shall we? I took my arm around his with a resigned smile. We shall. The town is lively today, but still not crowded as it is in the afternoon. I really do feel bad that everyone went out the way to eat breakfast so late in my account. I told them it was some important meeting with Parfait, but still. What could be so urgent that she had to call me out here now? The walk through town is mostly uneventful. I'm relieved that no one goes out their way to speak happy birthday greeting to me. When Emily mentioned Klaude wanted the townsfolk to celebrate with me, I was half worried that they would rush me when I came out of the palace. Yet the town it always is, which is a great relief. I greet people respectfully when they call out to me, but otherwise keep to myself. We are close to the margin when I stop, hearing conversation that piques my curiosity. I do wonder what happened to her. She was just here one day, then gone the next. Beautiful, mysterious women tend to do that, I suppose. She was mysterious, wasn't she? It's been years since she was seen. Maybe she was just a fairy passing by. Or perhaps a witch. Her beauty was mesmerizing enough that she seemed more than just a human. She had a rather mysterious name, didn't she? Miss Karma. Miss Karma. I cannot believe people are still talking about his disguise from 2 years ago. I cannot help but glance at Klaude, who's grinning at me mischievously. Perhaps one day the enigmatic Miss Karma will appear in town again. Is she a fairy or a witch? None may ever know. It is indisputable, however, that she is the second most beautiful lady in the realm. Second most beautiful? It's not like you to be so humble. Klaude looks at me pointedly. Well, she certainly isn't as lovely as another fair maiden that I know. Klaude's only response is a wink. I continue to walk, my eyes now on the merchant. I wonder how the townsfolk would feel if they realized that Miss Karma somehow became the Crown Prince of Ainsley. Cheated feels like it would be putting it mildly. When I finally arrive at the merchant door, I stop, relishing the nostalgia that comes over me. I do most of my magic practices at the palace and forest now, which means I barely have any reason to come to the merchant. 2 years ago, the place was lively, always crowded with patrons who were seeking to break their curses. Ever since I became the Baron Bearer and dispelled those curses on my own, the place has become significantly less busy. Now it's just a normal tavern, though I hear many of the previously cursed still come here. I put my hand to the door and pause. It feels as if the merchant is holding its breath. I should make this quick. It's almost noon and I cannot miss lunch as well. I turn the doorknob and step inside. I'm expecting quiet and serenity, but the moment I step foot through the front door, there's a loud outburst of sound from every direction of the room. Happy birthday, Princess Lucette! The words are only the primary greeting. After them comes a shower of petals that fall from the ceiling. I realize as they fall to my feet as they are white. Lily. Petals? I stare at the sight before me with wide eyes. The merchant is mostly unchanged, except for a few flourishes here and there. Lilies line some of the shelves, and I can see through the doorway at the tables in the tavern are decorated. Finally, I notice a group of people gathered by the door. I live for moments like this, where I can see your ever so stoic princess stunned into silence. One would hope that she would find the surprise party surprising. I came here for urgent business. The words leave my mouth before I can even think them. My cheeks are warm and my head is spinning. I cross my arms. My face is still flushed from the embarrassment. I turn to glance behind me and see Klaude looking at me. He is smiling at me smugly as if in triumph. You knew about this all along. But of course, I did help plan it after all. So what he did at the palace was a well-crafted lie? You forget that I'm very good at keeping secrets. I step into the room, the surprise finally sinking in. I look around and see familiar faces I haven't seen in a while. Even more surprising, my family and Nance are among them. I saw them all before I left the palace. How did I get here? When I ask for explanations, I am told that the royal family was transported to the mansion by walks, who used a transportation spell. Everyone else had been gathered in the merchant before that, making arrangements and setting up the impressive array of food I can see in the tavern area. Although the venue is smaller, it is more comfortable. This is so much nicer than a grand party at a palace. No formalities are required. I prefer the nostalgia of the merchant to stiff royals. I'm led as the guest of honor to the tavern area. There is, sure enough, a banquet set out on all the tables. Some of my favorite foods on the menu, and it is impossible to miss the drinking fountain. Is that a drinking fountain filled with the special birthday juice, princess? Special birthday juice sounds wrong. There are fancy goblets laid out beside the fountain, already filled with the concoction. Goblets on their own are not counting there. I recognize the chameleon topper, so this is the juice that Emmeline was tasting in the dining hall. Emmeline moves to stand in front of the drinking fountain, a bright smile on her face. I notice Lance is standing with her. More likely than not, he has been assisting her with this since he arrived. Emmeline gestures to the goblets and the drinking fountain behind them. I present to you Lucetta's special drink, the chameleon. There's a round of applause, followed by confused muttering. Dolores snorts. And here I thought it was a celebration for the princess. Emmeline! Lucette insisted that we call it that. Klaude looks at me mournfully. Did you really expect me to call anything else with such a topper on it? But Lucette, I have no problems with the name. It was your idea after all. I'm amazed. I didn't even know you could blush, Karma. It's a trick of the lighting, nothing more. Shy boy talaga. Everyone scatters in different directions at that point. Some make their way immediately to the food tables while the others begin to engage in conversation. It is a small get-together, but the people here are all comfortable enough with each other that it's easy for them to converse. Somehow, even despite the fact that the royal family should look out to the palace, they do not. Maybe it's the fact that they already met everyone at the tavern before the palace. Even Nan seemed at ease. I'm just about to make my way over to the large food display when a familiar voice stops me in my tracks. It has been too long, Princess. I miss seeing a radiant scowl. Oh my, Chevalier has a new pose. Every time I think he's changed, this happens. Chevalier laughed when I frowned at him. And there it is. I'd much rather see you smile, though. It is your birthday, after all. 2 years ago, when I lifted the Chevalier's curse, he remembered that he was a doctor. He became much more serious after that and went back to his work with a commitment that surprised everyone. I hear that because his clinic is closed, when his clinic is closed, he visits the merchant often. How have you been? I've been well, Princess. I have to thank you for your recommendation a month ago. My recommendation? You recommended my clinic to a renowned nobleman, Lord Jessamine. Was it? One recommendation has led to another, and now I have an influx of patients. I found out not long ago that the Chevalier frequented refused school from a people. I found out not long ago that Chevalier frequently refused gold from people out of his own selflessness. Because I could not convince him to take the gold, I could not recommend a nobleman to his clinic instead. Now he has no reason to refuse payment. It is my pleasure, but please make sure that to keep some of the gold to yourself. I hope you won't put Lucetta's efforts to waste with your own selflessness again. Klaude suddenly stands beside me with a scowl on his face. A pleasure to see you too, Your Highness. Both men frown at each other. For some reason, they are still curt with each other. But do they really need to act like children? Oh, Lucette! Len suddenly appears at the Chevalier's other side with a bright smile. I came to ask. Oh. He looks at Chevalier, who is staying between him and Klaude with wide eyes. There's two of you? Lance laughs. I would be Claude's brother, yes. I am Prince Lance of Bergentia. It is an honor to meet you. An honor? You're the renowned Ensley Doctor Chevalier Dumont, yes? Your reputation precedes you. Chevalier's eyes glance skeptically. You know me? And more importantly, you're being nice to me? His eyes flicker between Claude's and Lance. Lance looked at him perplexed. He looks a little lost. Klaude, on the other hand, is staring between the two of them unimpressed. Maybe I should say something. Maybe assist Lance? Okay, maybe I have like a biasness to Lance. But he's so cute! How could you not assist him? Like, he's so nice and cute. And he's so polite, I guess. Like, I like Klaude, but there's no option to help Klaude or anything like that. So I guess I'll assist Lance. I could remain silent. But that helps no one, right? So I'm gonna assist Lance. Lance may be Claude's brother, but his opinion of you has yet to be formed. My brother doesn't know much about your character. Chevalier sighs. Princess, do you hear what he has to say about me, and yet you don't scold him? I am offended. I've simply given up on you two. Lance laughs jovially. Even the bitterest enemies can become friends if they find something in common. I have faith. Ever the optimist. Claude turns to me and raises an eyebrow. He leans closer to me and whispers in my ear. You really don't need to assist my brother. He can handle himself. If everyone keeps spoiling him, he'll never learn how to be independent. He continues mumbling to himself, looking irritated. I cannot tell if he's worried about Lance or not. Chevalier and Lance seem to become more comfortable with each other after the interruption. Claude pulls me away while they continue conversing. Well, at least someone gets along with that man. Everyone except you. Claude shrugs. Some things do not change. We part ways after that. Claude going to speak with my family while I make my way towards the merchant borders. Princess! Walt strides past the conversing Lance and Chevalier to greet me. If it isn't Ansley's favorite magician. Favorite is a bit of an overstatement, but thank you. How have your lessons been going? I assume that they have been a success if you haven't made any, as you haven't made my 3 last lessons with Blora. I was actually gonna apologize for that. There is no need. There are young witches who require counsel a lot more than me. Shortly after Waltz's curse was dispelled, he made a good on his deal to help me teach me magic. I used to see him more often before I decided he was going to become a magic tutor for young witches. Walt is very good with children. How have your Baron responsibilities been? Princess? I have been having more nightmares recently, but there's no cause for concern. Walt, stop. I can see you're already worrying. It's in my nature to worry about friends, you know. Walt's have been helping me remember some of my lost memories now that he is no longer cursed. With his help, I have been able to recall our previous friendship. Today is the day of his celebration. You're not allowed to worry about me. But that is an order from your princess. Walt smiles as he puts his hand on his chest and bows. Bows. Whatever. I have no choice but to obey then, I suppose. Our conversation turns to a more light-hearted thing after that. The jovial hours pass by in a blur. With the exception of Julian and Garland, who are both back at the palace because of their important night duties, everyone I know is here. It is a pleasure to break and catch up with all of them. After some large cake is brought floating in by Parfait. Wow, that is large cake, and it's all blue. Did you know that blue is one of the rarest colors in the wild? You rarely see anything that's colored blue. And it's amazing that we can create blue artificially, you know, because it's so rare in the wild. Everyone in the room grows quiet as they gape at the massive size of it. The cake is 5 layers. It's 5 different layers, and without magic, would have required at least 6 people to carry. I was under the impression that this cake would be small. Oh, but it is! Lance gasps aloud as he points at the cake. His usual composure is broken completely when he waves his hand in the air, a wonder-filled smile on his face. A Burgundian top cake! I haven't had one in years! A what? Oh, I've heard about the Burgundian top cakes. They're incredibly different to make because of all the different layers, and the largest cake causes it to slant on account of being so tall. You see, it is small. This one is nowhere near collapsing on itself. Why is it that the norm is that the cake would be collapsing on itself? Isn't that kind of bad? Why would they make such big cakes? If it okay. Whatever, Bargantia is known for its over the top celebrations and all that, so I guess that's normal for them. Klaude is filled with pride when he tells me that he commissioned some of the best bakers in Ansley to undertake the task of making the cake. While the actual decoration was done with professional bakers, the more complex details were apparently crafted by witches. Laura herself made the trick candles on top, which refused to blow out no matter how many times I huffed at them. I end up turning the fire to ice to get them to stop burning. By the time everyone is done with their cake, the daylight has been replaced by swabs of gentle moonlight. The festivities are just about wrapped up for the night when Klaude approaches me insisting we return to the palace so he can give her his last gift. At first, I assumed that all of us are simply going to be teleported to the palace, but my family insists that I go ahead of them. Father has something he wishes to discuss with Delora and Parfait, and Ophelia has a surprisingly animated conversation with Anis, who is discussing some complicated recipe with him. I decide to head back to the palace early with Klaude after saying my goodbyes to everyone. I expect my stroll through the town to be leisurely, but I'm surprised to see a bright light and decorations when you come to the plaza area. Specially crafted lanterns hanging from the shingles of the rooftops, and the town floor is Whoops! I almost swore. No swearing. I almost swore because I read littered as something else. Whoops! And the town floor is littered with both white and red flower petals. Everywhere I look, the stalls are decorated with lilies and roses. What is all this? A celebration, obviously. The plaza is the heart of grand festivities, and the stalls are filled with games, music, and food. Everything is either lily or rose themed, and everywhere I look, I see smiling faces and laughing crowds. Emmeline said they wanted some way to celebrate my birthday to the townsfolk, but I was expecting them to distribute a drink, not all of this. There are rose petals too? Only because the rose and lily aesthetic is a good combination, you know? It has absolutely to do nothing with stealing your spotlight, I can assure you. No, of course not. I cannot stop smiling as I take in the sight of the town. It is beautiful at this time of night, and seeing the townsfolk so immersed in all these festivities makes me happy. Thank you, Klaude. Your smile is thanks enough, love. And we both owe thanks for your family, the palace servants and those at the merchant. I would not have been able to plan all of this without them. Once we're closer to the palace gates and out of the view of everyone else, I lean forward to plant a kiss on Klaude's cheek. What? Disgusting. He blushes immediately. The enduring flush on his cheek makes me laugh. I love you, Claude. I love you too, darling. I imagine he'd said it like that. Actually, no. It would be different, but I'm just gonna go with it. Yeah. He puts a hand to his rose locket. With all my heart. I loop my arm through his as we make our way through the gates. I plop down on my bed with a sigh. The night celebrations have gone on so long that I am more exhausted than usual. Sleep feels incredibly alluring, but I sit up as Claude entered his room with a bright smile. I would have slept. If it were me and I had a day of celebration and I just sat on my bed, I would be sleeping right then and there. I would just I sit up as Claude enters the room with a bright smile. And here I was hoping you'd fallen asleep so I could wake you up with a kiss. Okay. That will not be necessary. Claude steps forward and holds out a box to me. It is simply wrapped with a small blue ribbon on top of it. I wonder what it could be. Claude takes a seat beside me as I unfasten the ribbon at the top and pop the small box open. After getting it through layers of wrapping papers, and I find a smaller box inside. I pop the box open carefully and stare at what I see inside. This no, they can match. He has the rose and she has the lily. They can match now. Ooh, that's so cute. They have matching pendants or necklaces and whatever you call them. This was from the trailer, wasn't it? The Cinderella Evermore, the Cinderella Phenomenon Evermore trailer. The one with the music. Yeah, I love the music, by the way. The one with the music. This was shown at the after they said darling. Da 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 da. It's that part you see this picture. Yeah. I take the pendant and it's called a pendant, okay. I take the pendant and its chain out of the box carefully and trace the petals with my fingers. My eyes immediately go to the rose pendant on Claude's chest. Now we match. My fingers tighten around the lily pendant. The celebration with the merchant and the townsfolk, the cake, and this gift. Despite Claude's flair for dramatic, he was still able to give me so many things without sacrificing his genuineness. You like it? No. I love it. Is she gonna say that? If she says it like that, is she? I don't really like people who do that, cause boring. Like it's been done so many times that I think it's kind of boring already. It's kind of stale. Just say what you mean. Claude's expression falls. Then just as quickly, he looks confused when I laugh. I love it. She said it. Princess is this joke has been so stale. I've heard enough of it. Like, no more, please. I've heard enough of this kind of jokes. My sisters do it all the time. My mother will be like, "Do you like it?" And then they'll be like, "No, I love it." Oh, okay. Okay, why didn't you just say "I love it" instead of "No, I love it"? You waste less words. You waste less of a breath. You waste less oxygen on this earth. Don't look at me like that, sister of mine. You really do love to tease me, don't you? I put a hand on his knee and leaned forward, still gripping the pendant on my fingers. I promise to treasure it always. Thank you, Claude. Before he can say anything, I lean forward to kiss him. Our lips meet in a kiss that starts soft and eases into something deeper. I lean into him, causing him to fall back onto the bed. Oh, you're in one of those moods. Not at all. I just noticed your form was lacking, so I exploited your weakness. Dominance! Exert dominance. Yes, princess, we always do love to exert our dominance. I do that all the time by shouting and screaming and telling everyone off. It's like, you're nothing special. I don't know how to exert in dominance. I'm sorry. I'm just thinking about what at the top of my head. I'll just be like, I'm just speaking nonsense at the moment. I have no idea what I'm talking about. I did not think about anything before I said those words. I'm sorry. I got anyone offended or anything. I don't know how you get offended by that, but people do get offended. I mean, I always get offended. So, meh. I should know better than to let my guard down in front of my best pupil. I leaned towards him again, my lips brushing his once again, but not or startles us both. When neither of us say anything, the knock comes again. Excuse the interruption, Princess Lucette, Prince Claude. The king desires to speak with the prince in the throne room. He says it's about the celebration budget. Celebration budget? Claude rolls out from underneath me with a sheepish laugh. Ah, right. I suppose that is important. He calls back that he wants to be in the throne room shortly. The maid leaves, her footsteps echoing out the hallway. What is this about a celebration budget? Well, many of the supplies were set out in the town for your birthday celebration had to be paid from a fund. We're going to help fund all this too in honor of the marriage, but he smiles sheepishly. I'm afraid I've yet to explain that part to the king. I stifle a sigh as he smooths down his clothes. I'm about to wave him off when he leans down in front of me once more. He uncloses my fingers from around the lily pendant and holds it up. If you don't mind, darling. He leans back to clasp the necklace at the back of my neck. When he pulls away, the lily pendant hangs from my neck. This small weight reminds me of the glass slipper necklace I used to have in the same place. I'll see you later, Lucette. The two of us say our goodbyes before he rushes out from the room, leaving me alone to think on the events of the day. Days pass after that, and the usual schedule begins to fall back into place. Rod has returned his usual morning meetings with the king and his class sessions. My own schedule is composed of meetings and lessons, including magic practices with Laura and Waltz. On top of all those things, I have the lessons that I mentioned to Lance. Lance took my suggestion to ask Claude for assistance to Heart, which means that I had to find time that worked for all three of us. In the end, we decided on a time after Claude's lesson. That is why Why, come my way, why, go. That is why we are all gathered in the dining hall now. You're so stiff you could be a sculpture. Lance attempts to relax his shoulders and ends up sulking. Mama, have you forgotten all those lessons we took together? I thought your memory is better than that. Lance smiles sheepishly. I notice his eyes flicker to me, then down on the floor again. Am I making you nervous? I could leave. No. They both speak at the same time. Claude sighs as he runs down his hands through his hair for a few moments before annoyance flickers up into his expression, then quickly fades away. I'm sorry, Karma. Apologize by getting it right. I know you can do this. We both took speaking lessons together. Now start again. Lance once again squares his shoulders and looks at the two of us solemnly. He is about to speak when Claude holds out his hands. Why do you look so angry? If you have to scowl, fix your face. You'll intimidate your audience. Lance cringes as he tries to settle his expression into something gentler. A small smile slips into his face and Claude sighs again. Now you're smiling. What exactly is the problem? You know the problem. I'm terrible at crowds. No, that's not it. You've spoken to crowds plenty of times before. This has nothing to do with the audience at all, does it? It's the subject material. Well, of course I'd be stressed about the subject material. It's just a speech about announcing my inevitable accession to the throne. How can I not be stressed about it? Most times I feel like I'm not worthy of the title of king. When Claude remains silent, Lance crosses his arm and looks at him quizzically. Karma? Claude's only response is a sullen glare. Why is he so angry? I don't understand. Don't understand? It is an honor to be crowned the king. We have been preparing for that duty all our whole lives. You've known as long as that this honor would one day be bestowed upon us. Never once have I seen you struggle or complain. And yet now I'm out of the picture, you suddenly flounder. Karma, I did not give up on the title so you could bring shame to it. Lance stares at him, obviously shocked by this turn of conversation. My surprise mirrors his. What? What? Both of us speak in unison. I'm disappointed in you, Lance. The anger on Claude's face is alarmingly palpable. He stares at Lance, who is looking more and more like he might succumb beneath that gaze. This is not right, but... Okay, maybe we should take his advice, like Claude's advice. Like from the tavern, the merchant, where he said I should not baby Lance so much. Maybe I should take his advice and not baby him so much. Yeah, let's do that. Let's keep silent. It is not my business to say anything. Whatever problem they have between the two of them should be worked out between them. I apologize. Why are you apologizing? What happened to your backbone? Why are you allowing me to walk all over you? Say something. Lance looked at him distraught. Is something wrong, Karma? Something is definitely amiss, but I cannot imagine what it is. That question isn't necessary. This is about you, not me. I am unable to withhold my opinion. I step forward, eyebrows furrowed. Lance was simply asking for help and now you're angry at him for some reason? This is not about him, this is about you, isn't it? Claude? If this is about my being stressed, then I apologize. I want to do my best when giving the speech. The last thing I want to do is embarrass father. The dining hall doors open, and a few servants enter, breaking apart the conversation. Lance and Klaude immediately fix a smile to their faces as if nothing happened. We'll continue next time, Lance. Of course. The two of them give each other courteous nods before Klaude turns and walks away. As he passes me, he leans over and whispers into my ear. I'm sorry you had to see that, darling. I'll explain later. These are the last words he speaks before leaving the dining hall. Not too long after he has left, I follow behind, gripping the lily necklace tightly in my fingers and grumbling to myself. And just when I thought things were turning to normal, A Kingdom Sleep, Chapter 4. Alright. So Klaude is angry. Some grumpy old man. Yes. We'll learn next time why he's so grumpy, and maybe we'll solve it by the 6th chapter. I guess we'll only know next time, eh? Comment down below what you think of this episode and suggest some games for me to play. Like if you like, dislike if you dislike, subscribe for more content like this. If you want more Klaude, then be my guest and subscribe. And while you're at it, if you want me, you can also subscribe to see me play a lot of visual novels. I do that a lot, so you can look forward to that. And I think that's all. Thank you for watching and have a good day.